Hello, we're playing Sandstorm today. Sandstorm is a game about making a pilgrimage through the desert from the west to Mount Distant. And we're just gonna get started right away, because I don't know if I can really do justice to quite how brilliant this game is, but I'm gonna try my best. So this game, you travel through a desert, and it does it, to my knowledge, quite accurately, which is kind of interesting, because most games don't really do desert travel very well, really, when you think about it. But yeah, here we are. We are this person. We're wearing a pretty cool outfit, and scattered throughout the desert are these little pieces of paper every now and again. We can read them, and it'll say something along the lines of, "Despite my warding charms, the sandstorm has arrived. I estimate that I am still a few days west of Mount Distant. If I do not survive, I hope that these letters will find someone so that others may know of my journey. And if you are following my long-gone footsteps, good luck." And those little letters, they can sort of be scattered around pretty much anywhere. I think for some of them you really have to go quite out of the way to find them, but they can sometimes give you some information about what to look at, what not to look at specifically as well. And it's pretty neat. This is our camel. Our camel's sort of basically horrible, but we need him to continue traveling. Why he's horrible will probably make more sense later on, but for now we're just going to time to our little thing over here, and then we can ride this to keep on going through the desert. In the top right, you can see this little twitching thing, which is basically telling you how close you are to your camel. There's a compass, which tells you what direction you're going in, and there's a little time thing, which is also showing at the top of the screen, which shows you the time of day. To the top left shows you how many sticks you have, which you can put into the floor, but more about that in a second. And the bottom says how close you are to Mount Distant. Now, the direction you're going with your camel I don't think it matters really, but I think it's more just to sort of make you find your way, because once the first day ends, we have lost our camel. And this particular instance, we have also lost our compass, which is rather unfortunate. It is somewhere near our cart, but we don't know exactly where. So with these sticks, we can sort of navigate through the desert, because the camera's basically constantly spinning around, which is pretty cool, because like when you walk around in the desert without any sort of like way to figure out which direction you're going in, you're probably going to walk in circles all the time, and I've never actually seen that be implemented in a game before. So seeing that be implemented is pretty cool. Right now I'm mostly just looking for my camel. I'm using that little twitching stick on the top right. I'm really not sure what it is. But fortunately, we managed to find him, and now we're just gonna have to make our way back again. These sticks are pretty much your only way of really knowing where you're going, though the rest of the scenery and stuff is also like a pretty good indication of what direction you're walking into. Even just the smallest things, like little patches of, like whatever these are, just plants, I suppose, and such like. But since we are still lacking our compass, it happens to be on the floor over here. Which also, I guess it makes your screen spin around a lot less as well. I guess that might actually be one of the things it does. I should mention, I'm basically terrible at this game. I've managed to beat it once on the easiest difficulty, and that does unlock harder difficulties, but the easiest difficulty is a pretty good way of showing off the game, really. To have sort of a general idea what's going on and what sort of the goal is. So right now we can just keep on going with our little camel and just try to make it to the dawn of the next day. Very rarely you'll find sort of secret areas. I managed to find one so far where there was like a flower in the middle of like a whole bunch of circles, and all like a cool little animation happened when I stumbled across it. I unfortunately didn't record it because it was just my first playthrough, and I was just sort of looking at what the game was and things. But there are a bunch of secrets scattered throughout the desert, and I don't know if they spawn every time or just rarely, but it is something you can look out for, and it's something that also makes you like have more than a single playthrough, really, which is kind of neat. So right now, on the third day, we managed to lose pretty much everything outside of our little camel stick, fortunately, which is quite nice because our camel was also quite close to us, and we managed to find it quite quickly. Sometimes the camel will just be miles away, and it's just awful, but this time around the camel decided to play nice. And yeah, you really do want to try and find the remaining items, because knowing the time of day is just really convenient when you're just running around, because it'll give you sort of an estimate amount of time that you have left to sort of search around. And we found another piece of paper over here. I awake suddenly in the middle of the night. It must have been a nightmare, but I was sure I could feel hands. So many hands crawling over my face and body. That wasn't particularly the most helpful piece of information right there, but it might lead to something. It might just be like random text, really. But the main thing is that it will just continue to spin your camera around while you're reading these things, so you really do need to pay attention to both the paper and basically the rest of the game as well, which makes reading a little bit tricky, but you do get used to it as you play the game a couple times. And I kind of want to just keep going, but simultaneously having a compass, I think it does stabilize the screen a lot, and having it not spin around so much will make traveling a lot easier, especially when our camel decides to go on a voyage for some reason. The camel, he just likes to take walks, and it would be nice if he didn't, but simultaneously that does make the game a lot more exciting due to the fact that you can get lost a lot easier. I've heard that the towering furnace can turn sand into crystalline glass. I hope that this is true. How I wish to see this desert turn into a blinding mirror and in this unholy storm. Very, not quite helpful, but generally the ramblings of someone who decided to go on this same voyage and had roughly the same experience as we're having currently with it right now. Like, finding the items that you drop is really the hardest part of this game, because if you really lose them, then it's like, well, that's rather unfortunate. I kind of wish that didn't happen, but like, you don't really want to travel too far away from your cart, but at the same time you want to try and explore the desert, obviously, and you want to try and make sure that you find your things, and it might be in that direction, so you might want to take a couple steps more. And I am actually a little bit disoriented right now because I thought I was going in a completely different direction, which is really why I'm trying to find that compass. And there it is, thank God. We managed to find it, and from this point on, I'm just going to keep going. But yeah, this is more or less the game. Once you've beaten the game, you unlock extra difficulties, which gives you basically less sticks, and I think it's a little bit more aggressive with how easily you lose your things. Like, I've had a game start with me basically having lost everything immediately, and it does make the game considerably more difficult when you just have nothing available to you. And I think on the hardest difficulty, at least the one I have unlocked right now, I only had like 3 sticks instead of 6, so you can't really travel as far without just getting lost. And it's quite scary when that happens. It's quite scary when you have to travel places without being able to see anything, really. Every now and then you'll just see things that look like things, but then they're actually not, like this little piece of earth over there. I'm not really sure what that is, but it probably serves no purpose other than just to use sort of a directional thing. Now, our stick thing, unfortunately, isn't twitching at all. So, well, it's twitching a little bit, so it might be going in the right direction, but I'm fairly uncertain where we are supposed to go right now. So I am just going to go back to the cart and see if it twitches a little bit more or less. I think it might be a little bit more. Yeah, it seems definitely more. Another piece of paper over here. What's this right here? Another failed experiment. I've been measuring the direction of all this accursed wind, but so far it seems completely random. And that's more of a hint one, really, because I think he might be right, whoever that person is. I think the wind might indeed be completely random. Because I have, the first time I played through this, I was also just sort of following the wind. And then I came across that piece of text as well, and I was like, oh, that was all for naught. What a shame. I kind of wish I didn't do all that now, but oh well, there you go. Having some real trouble finding that stupid camel, which, that's really one of the main things. I think every player of this game at some point in their lives is going to be saying, like, where did the camel go? The camel can also move continuously, and then it's like right there. He's just like, oh yeah, I was here all along. Don't worry about it, man. Don't worry about it. I was just having a walk. And it's so great. It's so good. I'm a little bit worried because we did lose our clock thing, which is sad because I want to know what time it is at any point in my life. But we haven't really wandered in many directions so far, so yeah, we'll be going in a couple more directions. But yeah, I just think this is brilliant. I really do. Just because, whoa, arrows? Are those arrows? I didn't actually ever consider that to be an option. Maybe I should follow these things. But yeah, like, one, it's just like pretty fun to just try and finish your pilgrimage, because it's like, well, you know, you finish your journey, and that's what you set out to do. But simultaneously, it's also just quite fun to explore the desert on its own, really. Because every now and then you'll just run across something, like something in the sand or some piece of note from another traveler and stuff like that. And there's like 20 different messages I think you can find throughout the game, something like that. It might be more or it might be less, I'm not 100% sure right now, but either way, there's like a whole bunch of stuff that you should be able to find if you just look long enough in all these different directions in this seemingly endless desert. And you also just learn how to maneuver yourself through the desert a little bit easier the more you play the game, just because of the fact that I actually managed to find my way back again, which I'm sort of surprised by myself, really. But yeah, these arrows, they might be leading to something. I'm honestly not 100% sure. But part of me is sort of tempted to try and follow them, see if they lead to maybe a secret area or something like that. But simultaneously, I wouldn't mind to try and find my clock thing to see what time it is of the day, and we'll be able to use that for our later voyages. Because I think if we just leave now, we'll just have lost it forever. Like, I don't think we can actually get it back again if we leave without it. So, obviously, I'd rather find it, but we may just have to try and leave behind. But we found it, so it's all good. But yeah, it is very easy. Sometimes you just have to make a sacrifice and just leave without something. This time around, we were a little bit lucky just because we managed to find it. Sometimes you might, like, leave a stick somewhere in this vast desert, and you'll just not be able to find it again, and then you'll just have to just leave without it, really. Because if the day ends and you're not on your cart, then you lose everything, and then the game pretty much just ends, because there's just no way to make it to Mount Distant from that point anymore. Which is why it's mostly important to find your camel, because if you don't have your camel, then you can't be on your cart. Like, it'll just like have a little silhouette of your camel, and that's really it. Now this time around, we lost our camel, we lost our clock, and we lost our camel finding stick thing. This time around, we did manage to keep our compass, so that's kind of nice, I suppose. After a brief survey, the local flora seems to be made up of dustweed, sandsprout, and the occasional rockwood. The beautiful and elusive sunrose has yet to make an appearance, but I am still hopeful. I think the sunrose might actually be a thing that I found in a secret area one time. So, yeah, like, it's sort of hinting towards secret areas. Maybe there is like a secret end area where there's just like a bunch of hands or something. I mean, it's entirely possible with this game. I don't know what's fully available inside this giant desert that we got going on over here, so it's entirely plausible that there is some weird secret area with just hands everywhere. So yeah, it just makes you curious. It just makes you want to just explore more of the desert that way, and it's just really interesting. I just find it a really interesting little game. Now, unfortunately, as I said, we lost our camel tracking stick. And also, we lost our camel because it was the dawn of a new day, and our camel is just beyond useless and only knows how to walk away at the end of a single day, so that's rather bad. Hopefully, we can find one of these two items at some point. Sometimes you'll think you'll see, but it's just like a tree branch or something in the middle of the road. And also, God, the spinning. You really do need to get used to that. And the sticks do help you navigate with the spinning a little bit better. The fact that your footprints are visible as well do help a little bit. But the sticks are obviously a lot nicer just due to the fact that you can place them wherever you want and they stay there. Your footprints will just disappear after a while. A lot of plants actually in this particular area. It doesn't happen very often that there's this many plants that you can use as sort of a reference point, but there you go. And yeah, the sandstorm does make your footsteps go away slowly but surely, which rather unfortunate. Do wish that kind of wasn't the case, but then again, that's kind of the point of the whole sandstorm thing that we got going on, and that's why we're sort of making this pilgrimage as well through this horrible desert that we got going on right here, right now. Now, I'm hoping I'm still going in directions that I've not actually traveled in before. Did I just hear my camel, or am I going mad? These are entirely possible things. Hey, there he is. So at least, if anything, we managed to find our camel again. So I'm actually quite happy about that. And I'm just going to put him back to our cart before we go on and look for a little bit longer for that camel finding stick, because we will be needing it for the future days as well. And, oh, our camel decided to just let go. Fair enough. But, yeah, if we can find that, that would be so useful, because we still have a long way to go. And if we don't find that thing, then the following days will just be a lot harder because of that. But I think we may not be in luck this time around. We may just have to call it, which is unfortunate. It really is quite unfortunate, but that's the way it goes in this game. Sometimes your items just scatter in a direction where you don't want them to go, and then that is that. And that might end up just screwing me over completely, but we'll see what happens, I suppose. We're just gonna keep going. We have to, I guess. It's almost the end of the day, and I'd rather make at least some progress on this day. Even though it may not seem like the progress is that big right now, it's every little bit helps. And I guess the items that, like, the idea is that the items just get covered by the sandstorm over here when you don't find them immediately, and that's why they're just gone, and that makes sense. But there is still a couple days of travel left, and we lost our clock again, and also our camel. I'm gonna call him Jeff from now on. I think that's a good name for a camel that keeps making me go in the wrong direction. But yeah, I think the camel does make noise when you get close to it, but first of all, you need to get close to it. And the camel finding stick does help quite a lot with that. This time around, we just sort of lucked into going in the right direction. So I think because we also found our clock immediately, I might just try and walk as far forward as possible through the desert, try and get as much progress today as possible, so we may actually make it to Mount Distant if we do it right. But then again, this playthrough might just suddenly end on the next day as well. Like, it's sort of impossible to tell with this game. You might just get completely screwed over by this rather nasty sandstorm that we got going on. It is rather a rude sandstorm indeed. But we're just gonna keep traveling. We're gonna hope for the best. I like how the music only plays when you're really traveling as well, or if you've been walking through the desert for a while. It might just be like a day, like a daytime thing or something, but the music actually fits quite well with this. It's very atmospheric, and it just sort of fits with the traveling through this horrible place. And I think there might only be a single song in this game, but it's enough. Like, it doesn't really grind that much, just because it's quite a, I guess, sort of background noisy song. I don't really know how to fully describe it, but it's something that just fits really well with the atmosphere of the rest of the game, and I think it's really well done. Alright, so we're really close to Mount Distant, so if we can find our camel again, we could probably just leg it, and then we'll probably beat the game, but it's, we did lose our compass and our camel right now, so traveling is going to be quite nasty, and I think I might be going in the complete opposite direction. We at least managed to find our clock, so we have a decent idea of how long the day still is. One thing you can also use as sort of a reference for like what time it is just like the lighting as well, because at the end of the day the lighting just gets really dim and it just becomes harder and harder to see anything really, and you can use that as a reference point as well, obviously. So with some luck, we won't have to make it go to that. We did find our clock, obviously, so we don't have to make use of that, but preferably, I would just like to find my camel and just run as quickly as possible and hope that we actually make it to Mount Distant. And I honestly have no idea where it could be right now. So, yeah, this is going to be an interesting one. Our lack of a compass is just making the screen spin around like crazy, pretty much, compared to when we do have the compass. Hey, we managed to find him. And I think I'm actually just gonna not even use the compass and hope that we make it to Mount Distant. Hope that we actually manage to finish this playthrough. I will pick up a couple of these sticks again just in case it doesn't end up happening, but I'm feeling pretty confident about this one, honestly. I'm feeling pretty confident about what we got going on. And then hopefully we'll at least be able to see an ending. I don't know if there's more than one ending in the game, honestly, because really I've only managed to like beat the game properly once doing this. And yeah, I think we should be fine in terms of getting there, so that's good. Oh, we actually managed to find our compass, believe it or not. That is quite surprising, but sure, might as well pick it up. Might as well pick it up. But yeah, since there's also like secrets and things, there's like unlockables in this game as well by picking up like the messages and whatnot. And because like we've basically made it to the end, as you can see at the bottom, the moment the day ends, I believe then you just beat the game. So in a second it should tell us that we're amazing and that everything in the world is wonderful. Hopefully. Otherwise I did something wrong. We shall see in just a moment. It's playing the happy music. There is actually more than one song in this game. Playing a little cutscene, showing off Mount Distant, which was shining as a beacon in the light for the people that could see in the third dimension, which unfortunately we could not. We could only see from a bird's eye view. And naturally the sandstorm dissipates immediately the moment we find it. After a long and trying journey, my pilgrimage is over. My fortigenous camel, I am not good with long words, and I have left the desert behind and have reached Mount Distant. I am glad to have come. May the thirst of Anna endure. And there you go. Me and our camel made it to the end of the day. I wonder what would happen if you actually make it to the end and then get off your camel and just keep walking. I wonder if it would end the game, like in a bad ending or not, but probably. And there you go. We have defeated the game on Wanderer difficulty, which is the easiest one. And I quite like the descriptions as well. Like the easiest one is a gentle breeze blows around you and you pull your coat closer, and the harder it gets just get more and more ruthless. Like the winds whip past you, you shield your eyes with your hand. The storm is everywhere, you feel it consuming you. The storm destroys you. Good luck, you will not survive. And I'll be honest, they're completely correct, because when I started on Pilgrim last time, it really just destroyed me instantly. It was pretty brutal. Here are the credits. Now you can see who made the game, Managor, and 2 other people who I believe made the music and something else. I can't fully remember, unfortunately, sorry. But they, on their itch.io page where you can get this game, which I believe costs about $3, segue, I think it says what they did. So you can check that out, and then you'll know what those 2 people did. So yeah, there you go. And this is like unlockables, because we start off with the camel, but there's also a couple, like one other thing. You can start off with the shadow fox, which is completely invisible, and then you only have your, like, the camel's footprints to sort of tell you where it is, and it's horrible. I have not managed to beat the game with this thing because it's just so hard to find that thing, right? It's just awful. But it's quite it's an interesting challenge for people that really go hardcore in this. Then there's the sand shark, which I guess we unlocked just by doing this playthrough, actually, because I hadn't had this one unlocked. We might have found it because we found a whole bunch of different messages. I kind of want to try that one out in just a second. The axe head, which I think we got by beating the game once, or just sort of like this dinosaur, which looks pretty cool. Complete the game as Traveler to unlock, so that's a harder difficulty. Recover 30 trinkets to unlock. I think the trinkets are probably the messages, but I might be wrong. And there you go. I kind of want to see what the sand shark looks like, actually, because I'm quite interested. And the secrets, as you can see, I found the flower, but every other like dot is still just empty, so I am very curious what those would be. 11 out of 20 letters. So I guess these are just the letters, and then I don't fully know what the trinkets are. It might actually just be like the things, the like compass and map. Maybe, I'm not sure. But let's just quickly start a playthrough. Just skip through this, which is nice. It lets you skip that. Oh, we're playing on the hardest difficulty, so we immediately lost our compass and pretty much everything. We may have to actually restart this in case I cannot find my camel. Because, yeah, like I said, this is genuinely ruthless. It is so difficult to get anywhere in this, because you only have 3 sticks as well. So if anything's far away, you need to know how to truly navigate through the desert, really just making the most use out of your surroundings and stuff like that. Like those little pieces of those plants and whatnot. You really need to know how to use those to your maximum potential, because if you don't, you will just lose on the first day. It is absolutely ruthless, but it is simultaneously quite fun if you just get really good at this and actually manage it, because, man, I honestly wouldn't mind seeing someone beat the game on this difficulty, because I just get nowhere. And yeah, you can, as you can see, just walk forever, and we could maybe see if we can find a secret. It's very unlikely, but maybe just where we started, we might accidentally wander into one, so might as well see if we can follow the plants into something cool. And yeah, I mean, it's quite rude that it immediately got rid of our compass as well, because otherwise we might have been able to do this a little bit better. But as you can see, like, it's just spinning around like crazy. I might actually be going backwards again just because it spun around so much just now. Hey, look at this. We actually did find a secret. Cool. Whoa. So there you go. We accidentally stumbled upon a secret area because I decided to play on the wrong difficulty setting. There you go. At least I'm guessing this is a secret area. This is quite unusual, and I can manage to interact with everything. I don't think there's anything else I can actually do with this though, but yeah, pretty cool. Definitely did not expect to find anything, honestly, along that nature, but I'm quite happy that we did. So there you go. But yeah, after a while you do get quite lost in here. And haven't actually seen my camel, my compass, or my camel finding stick anywhere, which quite unfortunate. Oh wow, we actually found a message. Anna, save me, your light burns too brightly. Oh god, yeah, we have gone way too deep into this, I think. Oh god, well there you go. At least we got another secret message, I suppose. Like, there are 20 messages that you can find, I guess, and some of them you really do need to venture quite far into the deep end before you find them. Because if you just travel the path normally, I think if you only travel on your camel, you'll pretty much never find any of the messages. So, yeah, you do need to actually try and go out of your way to find these things, which is, I think that's really cool, because it gives you some incentive to explore outside of just trying to get your items back again. So I quite like that personally. Plus you find the secret areas every now and then as well, and I am quite curious what happens if you find all of them, if there is even something that happens, or if it's just that you can show off that you actually managed to find all of them. We actually found a well over here. I don't know if we can do anything with that, probably not, but look at that. I haven't seen that before. There you go. I'm just going to keep walking until the day ends, so you kind of have an idea what happens, I suppose, because I haven't really done that. And who knows, we might accidentally stumble upon something else. We managed to find a little hidden, like, thing that we can make buildings pop out of the floor of, so with some luck we might be able to find something else, maybe find another message. Pretty much just using my footprints as like a reference point to make sure I'm still going just consistently in the same direction. Which is quite nice to at least let you, like, do that. That even though the camera is pretty much spinning around us constantly, it will still let you just go in a singular direction if you can control your character that way. But yeah, that was just really the main thing that just impressed me, because most games that I've played, if not all of them, there have been a couple that sort of try to do getting lost in the desert. I think the only one I can really think of right now is Secret of Mana, which didn't do it very well, because it just kept looping the same screen over and over until you went in a very specific direction, really. So, or until you just went through a couple of different screens and then it just sort of triggered a script, and that was really it. Whereas this game uses it as its main mechanic, and it just works really well, I think. It's a really interesting thing to explore, and especially with like the secret little things you find every now and then. It's just neat. Everyone should try it out sometime, because it's cool and it's nice. And I am definitely sort of... If I press the back button now, it'll just send us back to the main menu, and we'll just be able to restart from any difficulty and whatnot. So that's the thing we could do. But again, I kind of want to show off, at least, like, now you also have an idea how the screen fades out as well when you're walking around. The days are a lot shorter when you're on your camel, just for the sake, I guess, that you won't make infinite progress on a single day. And when you're walking around, you have a lot more time than when you're sitting on, like, your cart that way. I also don't know if there's, like, a thing you get for playing a specific amount of days either, because the little, like, screen at the start has like 12 or something like that in Roman numerals written on the right side of the screen, so it may be sort of an indication of how long it might take to get to Mountain Distant. I'm not really sure. Also, we haven't seen anything in a really long time over here. It's just been a desert everywhere, so we might have gotten quite lost indeed. And here we go. We are surrounded by pieces of paper. There's this arrow over here, which I'm not sure what it indicates. What is this place? The storm mostly subsided, but I am now more lost than ever. My sand shark is gone. My cart is gone. All my supplies are gone. Even Mount Distant is nowhere on the horizon. Oh god. I was wrong. Do not follow me. Do not try to help me. Just leave this place. I've tried to scatter these messages in the wind, but every morning they come back. If I somehow find these messages, please help me. Oh god. I think I've just lost the arrow as well, which was on screen briefly. I thought it was over here, but yeah, there you go. That's pretty much the game over screen right there. And it seems to just pop up more and more messages every time I get there as well. So maybe that's sort of your reward for dying over and over? I'm not really sure. But either way, we let the day end one more time, which is going considerably quicker because we are just completely lost. And once that happens, you just get thrown into the main menu again. So that gives you an idea of that difficulty at least. I do still really want to see my sand shark though, so I think I'm probably going to end the video with that because I want to see my sand shark. I want to see what a sand shark looks like because the camel just wanders around. Oh yeah, it floats. I was really hoping for that. Still makes the same camel noises, but look at this. It's a sand shark. How cool is that? You never get to see a sand shark in games, nevertheless control one of them. There you go. Sand shark. But yeah, that's Sandstorm. It is on itch.io, and I sort of recommend it. If this is your jam, then I'd check it out because it's really quite unlike any other game I've played, honestly. So that is quite cool. Also, the sand shark has no footprints, which probably actually adds to the challenge as well in that regard. I've also never noticed actually the tracks on the cart leaves behind. I don't know if those actually are there if you have a camel. They probably are. I probably just never noticed them before until now, just because my camel just doesn't leave behind anything. But yeah, I think this game's cool. Y'all should play it. It's neato, and you get to travel in the desert, and there's not enough games to let you do that. And I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope to see you guys next time, because our light burns too brightly. Bye-bye.